Hey, how's it going? Long time no chat. So this is actually going to be probably like a quick little vloggy vlog. And it's kind of unfortunate because I had so many big ideas about my next YouTube video, but then work got in the way, and then we had a ton of like crazy deadlines last week. I just ended up getting to that weird mushy state in your brain where it's just like you've experienced way too much at work that was not part of your job, but it's part of your responsibilities for having a job. And then you end up like taking that back, thinking about it, which is like annoying because you don't want to think about these things. Like you're just thinking like, oh my God, like what do I have to do tomorrow to make sure that I get all these deadlines to? Like, how does this impact other people? And like, you know, other people also have their own stresses that they're like, and it's not their fault. Like you have stress, so you're putting it onto other people. They have stress, so they're putting it onto you. And you're all trying to work together to make sure you complete this business objective, which in turn will hopefully then help you still get a salary and afford things you want to do, like traveling, like living the nice life, like in my case, trying to be a content creator. And that's my point. Like I had this really nice goal of like every week I would release a video, and then every day I would work a little bit on different aspects of creating content. So like creating ideas, topics, and things like that. Unfortunately, I have a super bad habit of just doom scrolling on like Instagram, and I don't really use TikTok, but sometimes I'll start scrolling just to like get my mind off of all the weird stuff that I dealt with at work. And it's not good. It's not like my best moment in life. But I did run into something really awesome, which I kind of want to like talk about. So I'm going to force you guys to listen. No, I'm just kidding. But it's about Doechii's series on YouTube called The Artist's Way, where she basically goes through this workbook called The Artist's Way, which is all about connecting with your inner artist, or essentially content creator. I ended up watching a week of it, and it was actually kind of really crazy because it changed my life as I was watching it. And I'll link her videos, the little like YouTube video that I saw that attributed her success to it, in the link description. But to get back to it, it was kind of crazy because when I started watching the video, I thought it was going to be like a nothing bust, like, oh, she's going to really like talk about, you know, doing the activities and things. But it ended up turning out to be like her epiphanies, her like real takes on things, her dealing with like actual stress that she was dealing with in her life as she was doing it. And I found that so relatable because it was in that moment, in that time, I just felt like I had a creative block. I like needed to like get out of my own head and like figure out how to do this. And as she's going through it, you're starting to like pick up and learn stuff from it too. So by the second week, she's going to record labels and trying to get in there. And she's like, she thinks it's like a 90s movie where she can basically sneak past the door, past security, like try to use her like charisma to like get through it all, and you know, get to the A&R people who she wants to talk to so she can get signed on a record label. But the reality is, life isn't a 90s movie. You just can't sneak your way through. You can't just do all these things. But because what she read from Julia, that artists have like audacity to like make it through, she just like took it and ran with it. But like the nice part is she didn't like stop. She could have given up on that moment and said like, hey, I don't want to actually do this. Like I feel defeated and broken. But because of the other tasks in the workbook, she actually ended up going on. She didn't give up in that moment. And so that made me want to like keep watching. And so some of the big things that I learned, which I think like started to impact the way I was thinking about like content creation and everything, is one, like don't get into a scarcity mindset. Like Doechii was saying that like a lot of times she would see other people have success, or she would question, like, you know, is it even possible for her to have success? Is there a space or there's an opportunity? But the truth is, there is opportunity for everybody. This world is so big and dynamic that there's always a niche for somebody, and you can always find your way in it. But also, the fact is, if you have a scarcity mindset, it will stop you from taking risks, from doing things, because you'll just be so scared that, like, oh, if I do this, this will limit me in some way or shape or fashion. And then the second thing, which kind of plays into that, is that there is no right way of doing anything, and it's okay to change or make other decisions along the way. I think in society we get into this really bad habit of saying, like, oh, well, you started doing like dance and now you've given up. So like in Doechii's case, she like had dance for a while, and one of her teachers was really upset that she just didn't want to continue with dance because she was talented, she was good at it, but that's not what she was interested in. She really took that criticism and like it started to impact her self-confidence. But you shouldn't really have to think or feel that way. Like, you know, this world is so big, there's so many different things. Like, you don't have to get trapped in the belief of like you can only do one thing. That's just boring. Like, even Doechii said it's boring. Like, I even think it's boring. It's like, you look at this world and like the universe is full of different things and people and places. Like, you know, like, it's good to explore, and that criticism like that shouldn't impact the way you feel. And that's the next thing. It's like, it's undoing a lot of like blockers. Like, if somebody said something or you just had a bad interaction, don't take that to heart. That shouldn't affect your confidence. Keep creating, keep doing something, because that's the only way you'll get somewhere. You know, maybe right now the market isn't there for the art you're creating or whatever you're trying to do, but at some point, as you start to refine your craft, get better, and start to work towards a vision, it'll happen. It'll happen in the way that it's supposed to happen. And sometimes people also get stuck into this mental mindset of like, oh, well, I want to be like a millionaire and all those things. But the truth is, that's not going to make you happy. What's going to make you happy is creating content that you resonate with. And, you know, when you start to look around, like, people actually who follow their gifts end up doing pretty well. There's people that like cut hair and they get good at it, and then they end up opening up their own business for like a hair salon and things like that, and they open up more, and then you start making more money. The more you focus on what you like, the more you'll attract the positives in your life. So you end up getting this amazing like abundance mindset. I know I'm just like a little bit like off tangent here, but I think that was like a really big takeaway for me. And then I think the next real big takeaway is like perfection. It's like a huge blocker. Like, you want to make sure everything is perfect, done right, but part of the game, which kind of goes back to that other original point of you just have to keep creating and doing these things, is because you won't get anything right the first time. You'll probably still never get anything right, but you'll get always 10% better at what you're trying to do, which I think is like the most important thing. That's what like really starts to push you in the right direction. People just give up too early, too easily, and it just screws them up. And then when you look at Doechii, she took all that information and that really helped her to success. Like, she basically got fired from her job at Chipotle. She then realized like she needed to return back to her passion of creating art and artistry from her heart, and not listening to like whatever anybody else has to say, but really just focusing on that. So I think that like really overall helped me, because I was just getting stuck into this like really toxic mindset after I got done with work of really focusing on all these like weird negative things and like getting into this scarcity mindset of like, oh crap, like I just need to like get all this work done, and thinking about work again outside of work. My attachment work was this scarcity mindset of like, oh, if I don't have a job, I won't have anything. But that's not true. Like, I'll still have this job, I'll still keep doing good at work, you know, I'll have opportunity and room to keep building content, and at some point, like maybe my content will do pretty well, and maybe I won't have to rely on this like work as my first formal source of income. Like I can have a second source of income, which will make life a little bit better, or maybe this will become my full-time thing. And I don't know, like I'm very excited. And because of Doechii's, you know, Artist Way, I ended up getting the book too, and I've done like one chapter. And one cool part is like there's basically a thing where you do like artists pages or like dailies, where you basically write 3 pages every single day, and then you end up just like brain dumping everything out of your mind into it, and then you just let it go. And I think that really helped me. I think when I was going through work, I wasn't dumping all that extra nonsense somewhere, and doing these like artist dailies, like I'm just dumping out all those other like unnecessary things. And then all of a sudden, as I'm writing, I start to realize like, wait, this is something I'm really interested in doing. It like, it helps me to like clear my brain and get that like inner artistry out of me, which I think that's what helped Doechii, because in her whole video, she always, I mean, sometimes she's not that good, and it's okay. Like you don't always have to perfectly do these artist dailies, but it really seemed to help her like get a clear mind. And as I'm doing it and I'm doing the tests, I'm starting to get that clear mind. So I'm like more excited and really, I don't know, I'm just like super pumped to see what like the next step is. And I'm excited to like, you know, make 2025 my best year. But anyway, that was a quick hit. Turned out to be a little bit longer than a quick hit, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Peace.